The UK, we stumbled upon that a little bit ago. We talked a tiny bit about it, and we didn't really get into it too much because it was honestly kind of stressful knowing that Snipers is over there, and Mac from Worthaby is over there. You say something wrong, you get freaking 30 months in jail. Like it was kind of stressful, if that makes any sense. I love those guys so much. It's really sickening. It's sickening what happens if you allow your poo 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 to be taken from you. Then you can go to jail for 30 months by saying, I don't like this that much. You go to jail for 30 months. So it's kind of stressful. But I'll tell you, if you think that's bad, you couldn't imagine the response if you tried pulling that. Look, I'm not prophesying, and I'm not demoralizing. I'm just hypothetically speaking. Everyone laughs. They're like, you shouldn't have given. And look, I do too. You shouldn't have given away your poo 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 poo. This is what happens, and it's true. But if there was an equivalent happening in the United States, theoretically and potentially, and the people are still armed, and they were in the woods, and they were protesting and saying, this isn't going to happen anymore, we're done with it, they would straight up drop anthrax on you. They would straight up drop Lyme disease, ticks, and anthrax on you. So if you think it's bad in the UK, if people ever did it poorly in the US, the response would be crazy. And this is not a prophecy, and this is not demoralization. I'm just saying, don't thumb. You don't have to thumb your nose at everybody, and I'm not thumbing my nose at Britain. So you couldn't imagine what would happen. It would be so crazy. They'd be like this. There's a practitioner of Islam and all that dropped this and that on top of the militia there, and there was 100,000 people died because of it. They'd be like this. Oh, we got to go get Iran. Like it would be turned against you in so many different ways. You would straight up lose your mind. And this, hey, I'm an idiot, and I don't know everything, but it's that's just my gut instinct if you tried pulling that here. But if there was some door-to-door and the cops are beating down your door because of a post, better bring a good supply of you-know-what. But if everyone coagulated and went into the mountains or anything like that, oh my God, you couldn't imagine what would happen. Oh my God. It would be beyond your worst nightmares. But still, that still wouldn't even matter. It's impossible to defeat a populace that's armed in the millions. It's straight up impossible. Impossible. When you have a citizenry of 50 million people with poo, 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 you cannot be defeated. Straight up. You can not be defeated. They would have to annihilate the entire population, and they would rule over the ruins. If you have poo, 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 you are invincible. If it's in the 50 to 100 million, invincible. I'm not saying we're above getting knocks at the door. I mean, it does happen all the time, I'm sure. And that's already, I mean, it is already technically too far and all the way, you know what I mean? It really is. But I mean, what am I going to say about that? What is there to say that is productive about that other than, getting upset or railing against things is, this is, and I'm not an organizer, I'm not going to be freaking forming militias and all that stuff. That's not for me. I was put in this world for more productive things. So that's pretty intriguing. I'm really intrigued by what would happen here. And that is definitely a comparison. If you're going to be worried, now look, in regards to, let's say, demographics or something like that, it's a very, the things that are happening in the UK, the things that are happening all around the world, if you wanted to, let's say, ship people back, that's straight up a very, very easy thing to do. I mean, so easy, it would be crazy. But if it'd be easy for the government to do. But if you tried to get the government to do that, you would be towing it with your government and the full military. You know what I'm saying? This is hypothetically speaking. You wouldn't be doing it yourself. It'd be so easy for the government to do. It would take like 6 months to deport everyone in the country. If need be, it would take 6 months to do it. But you would have to fight your government to do that. That's I'm not going to suggest that. And it's not even it's not it's it's not feasible in ways that you think. Viewers are reacting to the recent Florida. Uh-oh, is something about to go down in Florida? Are you guys looking at an AI or something? What's the deal with that? Are you looking at an AI that's summarizing everything we're talking about? Do you like how everything you type and everything you say feeds a digital Satan to be used against you in the future? Do you like that? Isn't technology kind of cool? Doesn't it make your life easier and better? Does it? We all know by now all technology is from hell. All technology is from hell. We all know that by now, don't we? Chat summary. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. But there's some force. There's some force going on in the UK against citizens. People getting jail time. People, you can rap somebody. You just get released. I mean, you know how it is. We could scream about it. We could cry about it, but you have to be productive. If anything, you must be productive and wise. That's just the first rule when you're living in an occupied world, occupied by an alien race, honestly, generally speaking. Machines and demons don't revere life and they don't revere freedom. Therefore, the occupiers are not alive. I'm sure people understand that by now, do they? It's irrefutable. A creature who lacks sensitivity and empathy and all that stuff is not a living creature. That's just the truth. These the plans and the strategy and the prison, this technology, it comes from hell. It doesn't come from men and women. It comes from hell. Surely people know that by now. So there's sort of an invasion force. We all know this by now. If there are lots of different kinds of people coming to your country and they can be activated or they get activated if you start fighting against it, that's called a sleeper cell. It's called an invasion force. Do people know that by now? Do people know what an invasion force is? Do people know what sleeper cells are? You think it's only in movies about Mossad or something like that? No. You live through it. You live through it. You know what I'm saying? You straight up live through it. Who would believe you, though? I wish I could see. But, everyone, these things don't end. Invasion never ends, occupation never ends, and MK Ultra never ends. And everyone's lived through this. Everyone's lived through it in their music, in their movies, in the demoralization in the news, in the normalization of perversity and violence and no safety. That's called MK Ultra. Do people know that by now? Don't people get that by now? Obviously. Now it's people kind of know these things now. People know these things. We've all known these things for many, many years. We all watched The Manchurian Candidate. Remember that? Remember when we watched that? Oh, you thought it was fiction? You want to vote for one of those guys? Have you ever voted for a Manchurian Candidate before? The odds are that you have without knowing it. Isn't that so good? Isn't that so good? And there's always division. There's always disunity. There's always discord. There's always discordia. Okay? There's always something to blame. And as an American, Americans get hit with the most propaganda. Honestly, they get hit. They don't know. They think they know the different nationalities or different races or ethnicities. They actually don't even know. And I get what it's like. I didn't know either until I did some traveling around the world. I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? People in the UK or even here, there's a lot of war drumming about Islam and about, Arabs. Arabs. The problem in the UK is that South Asians aren't Arab. Okay? Indians and Pakistanis are not Arab. Do people know that? They're actually not Arab. They're South Asians. Do people know that by now? And in regards to Islam, there is no religion in the world that is a real religion that does violence unto either, I don't know, their neighbors or in foreign countries when they come in. That's not Islam. And I mean, you could say what you want about that opinion, but it is the truth. That's not Islam. That's disunity. That's discord. That's the classic divide and conquer. We're all very familiar with all of that. But a lot of people don't understand the differences between major and minor sects, let's say of Islam or even Christianity. People have no idea. People have no idea. They don't know the difference between a military force and a force that's built for worship. People have no idea about any of that. I don't blame them either. I don't spit at people. I didn't know anything about anything, you know, years ago. And I'm not going to lecture everyone on Islam or even Christianity or anything at all. I'm not going to do that. I know that everyone is under many, many false opinions. Many, many false opinions. People have no idea. No idea. No idea. I spent a year in Kuwait. I spent a year in Kuwait. And you know what I saw there? I saw I saw worship, and that's it. I didn't see people making bombs or plotting planes crashing. No, no, no. I saw none of that. Therefore, it doesn't exist. Let me just say that. Let me just say that because a lot of people don't get it. People want to hate, and look, hatred is necessary. Hatred is necessary for wickedness and evil should be hated. They truly should be. But if people want to get the wool pulled over their eyes and they want to fight Muslims or they want to fight Arabs or this or that or whatever whoever they're blaming it on in the UK, did these people did whoever the South Asians that are going wild in the UK, they're not Arabs, and real Muslims don't pull out swords or pull their dicks out and rap people. They actually don't, and I get it. I get everyone, and most people here are Americans. I totally get that. I get how it looks too. I used to think the same exact way. Okay, but you see, a lot of different factions all around the world are sort of sleeper cells or something like that. But there's only so much we can go into that. But everything, at least from the minor sects in Kuwait, I saw no violence, and I saw an almost identical philosophy to Christianity. An almost identical philosophy to Christianity. A few things are a bit different, and very, very fundamentally different. A few things are. But then again, I'm not Mr. I can lecture people on religion. I hardly know anything. I try not to know anything. My head is completely full. Most people don't understand that Muslims are waiting for the second coming of Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Most people don't get that. Most people don't get that. And look, I understand conspiracy. I understand the moon. I understand Saturn. I understand, dude, I understand Esau. I understand Edom. Trust me, I have a rudimentary understanding of these things more than most people. I get all these things quite a bit. It makes me twisted when I see people fighting straw men. When you see people fighting straw men when the government is responsible for everything. Doesn't have anything to do with Islam, doesn't have anything to do with Arabs. They're not even Arabs that are over in the UK. They're South Asians. They're Indians and Pakistanis. They're not Arabs. And they're not Muslims. People, demographics of people are shipped over for very specific reasons, and the reasons are military. People know that by now? Oh, you think the problem couldn't be solved by the government? Unlimited money, unlimited military, unlimited transport? Oh, you think it's not possible to solve by the government? Obviously, it's only the government doing this. And by now, we know that there's only one world government. You think you see they're starting up the new world order. They're starting up the new world order. You see it now, dude? They started up the new world order 300 years ago. They started up 300 years ago. There's one government. People get that by now? You think there's there's warring nations and warring peoples, dude? Are you kidding me? This is Satan's little season. There's one government, and it's the people against Satan. That's it. That's it. People get that by now? Oh well, you see, they're bearded and they're violent. Oh yeah. Let's see who picked who came into the country. Who flew them in? Who picked? Let's see. There's them. Oh, you. Come on in. Who picked? Who picked? Did they just make it here on boats? Did they save up some money and just fly here? No, they were ferried in and they were shipped in. The demographics are very specifically chosen, of course, in order to terrorize the populace of the indigenous inhabitants. Of course, we understand that by now, don't we? Are you crazy? Doesn't anybody understand that by now? You think I'm stupid? You think after this BS, after 9/11, you think we're going to keep on fighting the same boogeyman? Is ISIS coming out of retirement? What are they doing? What are they doing? Oh, they're destroying all of the Babylonian artifacts in Ur, in Iraq. Oh, really? So they're sweepers. They're street sweepers. They're deployed in order to erase history. I thought it was just like they were just so Muslim. I mean, they were so Muslim, they just had to pull out the swords and break all the idols. Oh, really? Trust me. After 9/11 happened, it was a little bit easier to believe that because it was such an incredibly damaging witchcraft ritual, and a world ender, honestly, where, hey, everyone was under a spell. It's been 3 years or whatever the hell, 29 years, 50 years. It's been so many years. And by now, everyone has grown up and they realize that everything in the news is not real. It's fake. And I have personal experience. I spent a year in Kuwait. I've seen it with my own eyes. I know what it's like to be an American and to be affected by going to the Middle East or your what you think you know about other people. I know all about that. Who else has experience in the Middle East? Who else does? I'm sure, of course, there are many people that do. But who runs their mouth about all these things that has experience in these things? I've seen it with my own eyes. I'll pull it out if you want me to. I'll pull the books out. You see these right here? You want to pull it out? You want to pull these things out and do some comparisons and all that? We could. We could if you felt like it. Absolutely. Absolutely. People don't get it. Heed what I say. Because I understand the perception of the average American and what it looks like. Oh man, you say whatever you want. Say whatever. You say, compromised, he has to keep it down, or this and that. I completely understand that mindset. That's not alien. That's not an alien mindset to me. Not even remotely. I completely understand it and I sympathize with it. Again, a reminder that nobody in the world can match my freak. Nobody in the world can match my freak. So I'm not your average Joe. And also, I don't accept judgment or condemnation from other people. I actually don't. I don't accept it from anybody. Literally nobody. Myself and the Lord. That's it. Nobody judges me. Nobody condemns me. Nobody. Only the Lord. All these things are between me and the Lord and myself. I whip myself. Know what I'm saying? And well, I'm not criticizing criticism. Not at all. Not at all. You know me. You know me. You know me. I'm not criticizing criticism. Don't get the wrong idea. But I have a nice smile on my face when people are, they don't understand. They lack understanding. They lack discernment. You get it? I understand how it looks. People don't understand how the rest of the world is, or even how much can be fabricated. People have no idea. We can go on about it forever. We could go on about it forever. But people should know. Because I only have wisdom to gain. I only have wisdom to gain. There is nothing political or anything like, obviously, there's nothing like that. I'm in here for the discernment of wisdom. That's straight up why I'm here. And, I'm here to entertain. It is entertainment. If it weren't, if I was waxing brutality, if I was going wild, if I was whipping people up, dividing people against each other, then you would know that I was getting a paycheck to do it. Then you would absolutely know. People spitting unity don't get paid to do so in that regard. I mean, we do here. We have got a little ecosystem here, but you know what I'm saying? You don't get big checks. You don't get big checks and you don't get medals for preaching unity. You really do not. You get nothing for it. You get people laughing at you. I mean, what? One out of a, I don't know, 10,000 people. Very, very few people. Most people are very familiar with my freak and how, I've got a certain authority. I'm not Mr. Authority, but I do speak with authority. It is what it is. That's how I am. That's how wisdom is accumulated. That's how confidence is that's how wisdom is discerned. Let me just put it that way. But people don't get it. People don't get what discord is. People don't get what disunity is. People still, even if they read it 1,000,000 times, a house divided cannot stand. You read it for 20 years, 30 years, you still do not understand it. You still do not understand it. Unless you understand what I'm saying right now, then you do. People get what I'm saying right now? Do you get what I mean? Do people really understand what that means? Do they? Well, you do now. You do now. You cannot stand against anything if you are divided. Therefore, division, division, division. Therefore, no standing. You get it now? Everyone get it now? Anyone? Anyone not get it? I needed to mention that. And I need new eyeballs. Wow, man. Can't even focus anymore.